he's been very unlucky considering the injuries he's had and that he's now coming into bye weeks. So you've probably caught him at a good time. What are
Aye.
you sitting 4-3 now?
I'm 4-3 now, so it's in season's in the balance, looking quite tight. I think you're the same, aren't you?
I'm the same, right? And see, the thing was, I think Pollock was sitting fourth. I was
Mhm.
sitting ninth. I got the win, and believe it or not, I've jumped up 5 places. So that just shows
I
how
saw
tight
that
it
actually.
is in our league. So
What
I've
about you?
went from
Who you up
I am
against
up.
this week?
Oh, you're going to love this. I'm up against Toasty this week.
Oh, Toast Man.
I know. I hate to lower the tone this early in the podcast, but he called me an arsehole in the chat earlier, so it's getting personal.
Keep them going.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? But no,
Aye,
he's been up to his old
absolutely.
antics again in the old trade market. But anyway, we'll move on. We'll get to that later. You, like I said, are up against Roberto, and he's got a
Yeah.
guy in his team who happens to be my first stardom. And believe it or not, he's the guy that I named this element of the show after last week, or segment, should I say. It's Raheem Mostert, or Mustard, as we will call him. All
Yeah.
right. The reason I go for Raheem Mustard, all right, the reason I go for Raheem Mostert, right, he rushed 16 times for 79 yards versus the Steelers, 5 targets, 4 catches, and a touchdown. That's a very good return, giving him 23.7 points. That's the kind of volume that you want from your top running backs when selecting them in fantasy football, right? Looking at this week, he's up against the number 30 defence in the Lions, who, let's be honest, they're shipping points all over the place. He's the type of guy that you want in your team, and not only just to start this week. I think if you're looking to trade for someone or you're on the lookout for a running back that's going to have a lot of upside, his next 4 games are against the Lions, the Bears, the Browns, a bye week, and then the Texans. All of the defenses against the run are bottom 8, so that's why I think Raheem must. I can't say his name without saying must start now. That's why Raheem Mostert is my first stardom this week. Good
Hard
choice.
to hard to disagree with that, and I think to have been back, Mustard is relishing the opportunity.
I like it. He's a slippery customer.
I've got to catch up with him.
Right in at the deep end. Oh, mate. Right, we're off to a flyer. Who's your first stardom, Shug?
My first stardom is Miles Sanders. The Eagles are flying, coming up against a poor Steelers side this weekend. So I think he's one of those middle of the road ones, but I think he could be in for a good week. So I've got him in as my first stardom.
See, I liked him. I think he was finding the right gears in that offense with the Eagles, coming off the back of a bye week as well. But I can't believe you've just said Miles Sanders without calling him the Colonel.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if that pops up later on. But
Uh,
I think he had a bye week last week. Before that, as you said, sorry, he put up a week before. He put up 14.2 points against the Dallas Cowboys, who are a quite sturdy defence. So he's on decent form. So I'd have the Colonel in there.
I like it. And I cannot believe that how far off it you are the night. Could I say your Miles?
Very good.
I know, but we'll not hold up. We'll look at the flip side of it and who we think that we should sit. All right.
Yeah.
I took him as my bust. I took him as my bust in Monday's show, and I'm just not seeing any upside for him. Namesake of the team, and he plays with the Packers. He's the wide receiver, Romeo Doubs there. All right.
Mhm.
Played 100% of the snaps on Sunday, scored 0 fantasy points. Like, that's not a good start coming into this week. I think we're coming into that droppable territory. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's going to trade for a guy with these sort of statistics, especially how the Packers are playing. This week, it doesn't get much better for them. They're up against the Bills, who are the number one best defence in the league. No, sorry, they're one of the best defences in the league. I think they're number 8 against the wide receiver, which is still a high ask. Since his breakout in week 3, where he scored, I think it was 21 points, he's really not done much at all, and that offense just doesn't look good whatsoever. So that's why Romeo Doubs is my first sit. I'm sorry. Would you agree, or
Aye, Romeo done.
Romeo done of N Dobbs? Anyway, who have you got for your first sit, mate?
My first sit, I was on the fence about this one, but I'm going to go Chase Claypool. Now, a
Okay.
lot of people might not agree with me. He's not impressed for me this season. The Steelers as a whole haven't impressed. He hasn't been as effective as you'd expect, and there's been a lot of trade noise around him. So for that reason, I wouldn't be hanging my hat on him this week.
Yeah, we've got Roberto in the comments here actually. He's actually saying Mostert is going to beat Shug for me this week. That's fighting talk. Come on,
Ooh.
fight back.
Nah, listen, I've said my piece. Roberto, look at your record. That speaks for itself, pal. He should be talking trash to the second division boys.
In preparation.
Exactly.
I like it. I like it. But we'll move on, right? And we're going to come back to the startums because we go for two each in here. And it's a guy you've mentioned already, a guy that plays for the team that you support, and he also plays for the
Yeah.
same team as my first startum. I'm going to go to Tagovailoa. I hope I've pronounced that properly for the life of me. I just like him. I think they're a different team with him in there. You've seen that last week, and you've seen the comparisons to the previous week. When he's in, they're firing. I mean, I know they didn't score big last week, but this week they've got a very good matchup, like I've said previously, against the Lions. The Lions are all entertainment, and we keep saying that I've got a soft spot for them. I think it's because I enjoy watching their games. Most of the time they're scoring high, and there's plenty of points scored against them. In terms of Tua, he's averaging at the moment 16.69. That's considering the injuries. He's been in and out of games. But he's got Waddle and Hill looking to be fit this weekend. It looks like they'll play. Also, Mike Gesicki has been a very good option for him at tight end. Who knows if he'll be traded before Tuesday? It's yet to be seen. But like I say, the Dolphins, much better team with Tua in it. I think he's having a good season so far. So that's why Tua is my second startum.
Yeah, I disagree with that one. I spoke about him last week. I think he was my startum last week. Think highly, guy. Think he's destined for some good points this week, and hopefully he can stay injury free rest of the season. But yeah, I'd agree. He's a startum.
Yeah, another here. You're getting it tight in the comments here. We have another comment, and it's from TC Buzz, aka Tony, aka cousin of mine. He said Shug fluked a win last week.
Listen, results again speak for themselves.
You
Tony,
have your doubters.
What is that?
You've got your doubters in this league.
Listen, that's Roberto and Tony, and I'm just counting the championship rings between them. It's at 0.
And how many have you got? In fact, I'll tell you what, I'll stop you there. Let's count them between us two. What are we at, mate?
We're still at the 1.
We won't go further.
Listen, let the ring speak for himself. I don't respond to trolls.
Anyway, hashtag be kind. We'll move on. Who's your second startum?
I've went with Tyler Lockett this week. I think with the absence of Metcalf, I'd expect to see him getting a lot of volume. Although after I've put this through, I then read up to hear he was questionable with a hamstring injury, so I could be miles off it. But if he plays, which I hope he does, then I think he could do well.
This is the thing as well, when you look at that, right? No, last week I said I'm not sure about picking him up, but if he's out, man, Marquise Goodwin's stock goes through the roof. There's nobody to throw to there. But give me a nickname for Lockett, come on.
Oh, don't put me under.
It's got to be the key.
Lock and key, something. Locksmith. There you go. Gary Lock.
That's Gary Lock. For any of our American viewers or listeners here, Gary Lock was a bit of a lower league Scottish football player.
I wouldn't say that. That's harsh on Gary Lock.
Mid-table Scottish Premiership.
Anyway,
Right, there's too much carry on in here. We'll move on to my first sit-em, okay? Second sit-em, sorry. You're throwing me off track. I'm going to go with Darrell Henderson at the Rams. He's one of these guys, you've got these guys that you just don't really rate. I've never really rated Darrell Henderson, and I don't know what it is, right? But along the same
it's his
theme as your
haircut.
Tyler Lockett one, it's his haircut. I can't talk about anybody's haircut.
Aye, you're jealous
Along
here.
this, yeah, right. Yeah, I'd have dreadlocks if I could, but no, he he fits into the same bracket as your Tyler Lockett stardom for the reason that once I had wrote this up, I've then read that he picked up an illness and missed training yesterday, so I'm not sure if he actually trained today. So Darrell Henderson, for me, is my second sit-em, and the reason I say that is because they're up against the number 3 defence against the runs in the 49ers. He's averaging 8.6 points per game this year, which from a running back is very poor, considering there's no Cam Akers. Now, you'd expect that to go up, but in reality, I don't think he's good enough to improve in that. Malcolm Brown or Kyran Williams could be decent pickups there, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, not a bad shout. I'm going to go with my next sit-em is Aaron Rodgers. We spoke about on Monday that it could be the demise of great quarterbacks. Green Bay just aren't doing it, and I think playing against the Bills, I can't see him getting much joy this week. Rodgers also apparently struggling with a bit of an injury as well with his finger, I think. So he could be a doubt. So I wouldn't be putting any trust in him this week.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you there. He's not firing at all. I don't know if it's a trust issue there. Do you not think
Yeah,
so? In terms of his wide receivers, they're a pretty young core. Um, I just don't know what's went on there, but it's not the Rodgers of old that we all know. We're putting them in the
yeah,
same bracket as Brady because they've always been clubbed together. But
yeah,
I've got to agree with you there. I'm trying to trade him away if I've got him, or once again he falls into the droppable category. It wouldn't be
oh, absolutely.
beyond the realms of possibility if he did. But that's us done for the start sit-ems. I think that's a pretty good collection of what we've got. Like we say, keep bringing the comments in. This is what we enjoy. Give us your trades or your dilemmas for your lineups this week, and we'll do our best to answer them towards the end of the show. But we're going to move on to a wee section next, and it's a guy that I have mentioned already, and I hope he's watching. It's Toasty's Trades. Okay.
Yeah,
The main man in our chat, and I know that folk will be watching here that's not quite aware of what things happen in our league, and that becomes like a personal joke. But everyone's got that one guy in their fantasy league that will offer them absolute rubbish and expect the world in return. Toasty's our
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
So first
Absolutely. I
up,
mean, that's yeah. When you go, sorry.
no, this is your one. Talk us through what he's
Aye.
offered you here.
So I'll talk you through it. So I'll be quite honest. I've been trying to. I think the two of us have tried to poke the bear a wee bit in this one. With DJ Moore, offering him certain trades to try and get some of him. So this is the trade he's offered me. It is DJ Moore and Jonathan Taylor for Mark Ingram and Mike Williams. So for me, he's been pushing to get Mike Williams. I know he's not. I know he's not at his peak value right now, but for me, I'm rejecting that.
Yeah. Do you know something? In the eyes of fairness, I think that that's not his worst, if I'm being
No,
honest.
no, no. I think he's clocked on to what we kind of seen about his trade. So he's this is one of his more sensible ones that got me thinking a wee bit. Not enough to, but got me thinking a bit.
Yeah, so what we're saying, like Gladiator, thumbs up. There's my camera. A thumbs down.
Thumbs down for me.
See you later. I've actually had
He's gone.
He's gone. See you later. I've actually had one from him this week as well. For a certain gentleman called Khalil Herbert. All right.
Right.
Now, Herbert looks like he's no more the running back two at the Chicago Bears. It looks like he's went into a sort of snap share with David Montgomery. I think it was very close to a 50-50 split on Monday night, and he's got a touchdown as well, so he scored over 20 points for me. Now, he's offered me Alexander Mattison, who is the RB2 to Dalvin Cook at the Vikings, and passing the eye test, he's not in the same league as Khalil Herbert.
Yeah.
For me, this is a vintage toasty trade. When I asked him about it, he just kind of laughed it off and said, I thought I'd give you a chance this week. So bear in mind that I'm playing against him this week and he's offered me this.
Yeah. Aye. He's at it, isn't he?
Big time, big time. So, Shug, do you know what I'm saying to this?
Yep.
Down we go. Anyway, keep the questions rolling in the YouTube comments box. I think we've actually had one come in. So here it's saying, let's see, shit, given the Jamar Chase news, who do I start between Mike Evans, A.J. Brown and T. Higgins? Flexing, Darian Pierce can bench him and start. So that comes from George Cook. So Jamar Chase, it looks like he's out injured. So who are we saying he starts between Mike Evans, A.J. Brown and T. Higgins?
I'd go Higgins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. I do like Higgins. I do like the look at Higgins this week. I'm going to look up, but I like AJ Brown's matchup as well because I think they're up against a weak defence, if I remember right from my team. Let's see. Yes. Oh, man. It's AJ Brown all day for me. The reason I say that, they're up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are number 31 in the league against the wide receiver. So there's one more team that's worse off than them against the wide receiver in the league. So if you've got any wide receivers playing against the Pittsburgh Steelers just now, you're starting them. 0-6, Eagles coming off a bye week. AJ Brown's going to be fresh. It's going to be between him and Devonta Smith, who takes high points, or possibly both. So for me, I'm going to go AJ Brown.
Fair enough.
Are we in agreement? Thumbs up.
Let's go with AJ Brown. Let's give that to the chef.
Let's give it to the chef. Anyway, keep the trades coming. We'll get back to them. We're going to move on and talking about trades, okay? We highlighted it before the show that Kadarius Toney, the first round pick of the Giants from last season, or just before the start of last season, has been traded away to the Chiefs for a third round and a sixth round pick. Now, that's quite good getting that back from the Giants. To be honest, he's one of the guys I love to watch, but when you look at all the signs, there's a wee bit of an attitude issue there. I think he's now on his third hamstring injury of the season so far. But there's all the things that stink that during pre-season and stuff like that he wasn't happy and stuff. The team's flying. There's no need for poison like that in the dressing room. And I've got a wee stat here, right? Joe Shane, who is basically the general manager at the Giants, picked this up off Twitter. Joe Shane just got a third and a sixth for a receiver with more songs on Spotify, 53, than career receptions, 41. Our King GM. What do you think lies next in terms of, does Toney become a viable pickup for the Chiefs?
I think he could. I think they've already got plenty of weapons on there, but they've obviously brought him in. I think it's probably a deal that works for all parties. As you said, his attitude problems. Maybe it changes when he gets a change of scenery, when he gets a new opportunity. So, I don't know, potentially he could do all right, but as you said, it's one, I don't think the Giants will be too disappointed getting rid of. As you said, if he was attitude problems, using up a salary, injured a lot, then they'll be happy to see him go. As you said, the team's flying and they don't want anything holding them back.
Yeah, it's quite a strange one for me because the Giants traded down in the draft last year for picks when we missed out. I think it might actually been Jalen Waddle or Devonta Smith, and I can't quite remember which one it was. Anyway, we traded down and then took Kadarius Toney in the first round, and it's just not worked out for injuries. I mean, he's a gadget player, he's excellent, but I think we'll look to bring in another wide receiver. Can you see that yourself?
Yeah, potentially. I was thinking they might look at bringing in somebody like Judy or Claypool, maybe to add to that. So I think they could potentially look to add that somewhere there. What's your thoughts?
I'd love to see us bring in Jerry Judy. It's not really worked out for him at the Broncos. He's just kind of second fiddle to Courtland Sutton at the moment, which we didn't really see coming. Chase
Yeah.
Claypool, he's got all the talent there, but once again, playing second fiddle to the Steelers. So both guys very good. I think the Giants have got around about 8 million cap space just now, so either two of them would come in and do good, because let's be honest, the only viable wide receiver at the Giants just now is Wan'Dale Robinson. So any of the two comes in, fantasy football wise, you're trying to snap them up. I don't. Now this is only rumours, so don't go and find a guy in your league and just try and snap them up right away and blame us when it doesn't happen. But that's just how it is. But yeah, that's hot off the press there. All the memes and all that of Scott Hall sitting at the side of the ring, the WWE, you know, the one he's in the wheelchair in the Stookie, and he lifts it up. It's because Kadarius Toney's now tweeted saying that he's fit and he's ready to play.
Funny that.
Unbelievable. Funny that. Chancer. But no, other hot news just now, we'll move on. If that's not on my screen. Other news, we're moving on now. Okay, looking towards the Jets, and this was news that broke earlier in the week. Breece Hall went out with an ACL injury last weekend. Now, Michael Carter owners would have been rubbing their hands for their fantasy football teams, and right away the Jets moved, and you've got to take your hat off for them. That they've brought in James Robinson, who's had a solid season fantasy football wise and in terms of actual football, but who cares about that? And they've traded for James Robinson from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they picked him up for a 6th round pick. Now a 6th round pick can be anything. So for me, that's excellent business. And how do you see that for fantasy football wise, especially Michael Carter owners?
As you said, straight away when the injury happened, MD had Michael Carter's thinking we're in for the points, but now I just see them completely just sharing the opportunities. I think it's a good addition for them, as you said. So you won't, if you've got Carter, you won't get the points you maybe expected when you picked him up, but so probably share between the two of them, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. And the flip side of it, James Robinson now leaves a hole at the Jacksonville Jaguars for a guy that took a wee while to get going, and we tipped him heavily, Travis Etienne. What would you be doing if Jacksonville brought in Cam Akers as a backup running back?
Season's over. Season's over. If you bring that guy in, talk
Once
about
bitten,
poisonous.
Twice shy for you.
Aye. He's not worth picking up anybody. Leave him on the shelf, guys.
Leave him to rot. Nah, but hit us up in the comments with any sort of trade rumours or anybody you would like to see at your team, and we'll read out the best of them. Anyway, we'll move on to the next bit of news. Next week, okay, and this is very fantasy relevant. Week 9 this season looks like what we would call Bye-Mageddon. There's 6 teams on buys next week. It's the Browns, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Giants, the Steelers, and the 49ers. That is a fantasy football headache, especially if you're carrying injuries in your team. When these things happen, Shug, like, how do you plan ahead?
See, to be honest with you, I don't really think of it as planning too far ahead. I maybe look at the players I've got coming up and try and make kind of relevant, try and pick up waivers where I can sort of piece it together from there. But I think it's more about seeing the opportunity, the knock-on effect it will have. So everybody from their team is going to have to drop a couple of players, a couple of good players. So it's really about, I think, keeping an eye on the waivers, not just the week leading up, the couple of weeks after, where changes have sort of been made and people have had to drop guys. That's where you can start to pick ones up. So I think I'll look at more of the knock-on effect, try and just deal with my squad the best I can, and then look to build on it for the next weeks.
I think as well that the only thing I try and look ahead for that is my quarterback and my tight end, because these are the two kind of guys. It's hard to pick up guys of the same quality unless you've got them in the draft and you've held on to them. In terms of wide receivers, they're probably the easiest to come by. You're looking at matchups there in week 9, guys that can just fill a slot for a week and then you can bin them off. In terms of running backs are just a nightmare to trade for and a nightmare to pick up at this point in the season. So I'd be looking ahead there. I'd be looking at your squad, changing your drop-down menu on your app and seeing who you've got missing, because these are the type of guys that you want to be looking out for on Sunday on Red Zone that might pop up in terms of your waivers. But no, like I say, I'm up against Dorsey this week. He's on a bye. He's got the Chiefs on a bye, and he's actually got Travis Kelce. So I was stitching it up in the chat saying nobody give him a tight end.
Did they get one?
You get the boy for the Broncos, but we all know he's going to fail.
I murder.
I know. But keeping with the Broncos, right? A story that broke yesterday, and oh man, Russell Wilson told reporters he spent 4 of the 8-hour flight doing stretches and knees up down the aisles while his teammates slept on their flight to London. Shug, I find it hard to like this guy, right? And I actually find him a bit of a bellend. Things aren't going right there. Things aren't right at the Broncos at all. And he's coming out and saying things like that in press conferences, and you're like, what is going through your head?
Well, that's it. It's like fans don't actually care what you're doing on the flight. Like, they want to see results. It's like the guy that nobody wants in the team that's washing the kits just to stay in with the manager's good books, isn't it?
That's it. It's almost like when we were younger and you were on the bench and like our sort of British football thing, and you were desperate to go and your manager's pacing up and down the touchline and you're kind of pacing up and down with him doing stretches on the way up and down. Russell Wilson's that guy, isn't he? Like, you think of him in a locker room and you're looking for a leader, and this is the guy that's going out and doing like Subway adverts, press conferences, let's ride and all that rubbish. And now he's just come out and said he spent 4 hours on an 8-hour flight doing stretches up and down the aisles. Now, I'll tell you what's going on in my head there, right? I'm seeing the Broncos team on an EasyJet flight, right? And Melvin Gordon's sitting there and the trolley dollies are saying to him, would you like any duty free? Now, your man sitting there might be getting traded this week, and all he wants to do is buy a sleeve of fags, and you've got Russell Wilson stopping them coming up the corridor, whatever you call it, the aisles, because he's getting the heels up to the arse. Like, that's bad crack to me.
Hi. Did you not tell me there was a time on a flight to America where you went into the toilet for a stretch?
Excuse me, Craig, this is a PG show. Let's bang out. But to answer your question, it certainly didn't last 4 hours. But in terms of Russell Wilson, I think that thing in the background you've got, there's Durr cooking in him this season.
I don't know. There's a meatloaf. I don't know if you can smell it for your house, but there's a meatloaf nice in there. So I resent that comment.
Quick answer, like a bat out of
hell. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That was good. But no, Russell Wilson, it's just, I wish that, see guys like Russell Wilson, I wish they get the same treatment as us when we start a new job. He's just, put it this way, right, in our layman's terms, he's moved to a new company, he should be in a 6-month probation, and he should have to earn his right to get a contract. Instead, that guy gets traded. He then gets this hundreds of millions of dollars thrown at him for the next how many years? 5 to 7 years? Most of it guaranteed. And 1, he's a gimp. 2, he's been terrible. And 3, his teammates must be waking up in a flight and saying, like, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Can't he sit down?
100%.
The seatbelt signs come on, the hit turbulence, and he's like, 1 more squat.
It's like a guy that starts in a job and you've got a meeting on and they just ask questions just to make it sound like they're just to be busy. You know what I mean?
Just to sound relevant. He's a job's worth. Do you know what the worst bit of this is? Right, you could put your mortgage on that he clapped when the flight landed.
Aye, probably. And he definitely listened to the safety instructions at the start, didn't
he? He was sitting nodding when she was blowing through the whistle and the blow up vest. We've spent too much time in that camp.
Aye.
But nah, last bit of news, and there's not been too much of this on socials. Tom Brady announced on his podcast, the Let's Go podcast, with Jim Gray, that he could be, and this is tonight, he could be the most sacked quarterback in NFL history, and he only needs 2 more sacks. So what I'm looking at here is like, it's Tom Brady. Like, how can that be? But I think it comes down to longevity, how long he's played. It's a funny one, isn't it? 553 sacks. Now, he's not the quickest around the pocket. His O-line's been good, but not every year it's been the best. But you've got to take into consideration how long he's played. And you just think it's quite funny, though, all the accolades and all that he's got of the good awards. Like, it's funny that he would hit out with this, and I like that he pokes fun at himself.
I like that as well. But again, it's not a record that will bother him in any sort of way. As you said, it's because of the length of time he has been playing, and the chances he takes and the way he goes to try and win a game. So if anybody was trying to slag him for that record, I think you just simply look at straight away the amount of Super Bowls he's won.
Aye.
I don't think that would shut up any criticism. So I don't really think it's an interesting stat, but it's not one you can beat him with, because as you said, he's been playing for that long and been that successful.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to that podcast? Larry Fitzgerald's on it as well. It's quite good.
I don't listen to other podcasts.
I like that. I like your attitude. You're a company man.
Well,
You're the Russell Wilson of this podcast.
Man.
Go and give us a stretch.
No chance.
We'll stop right there. But no, for 10 points, right? Can you tell me who currently holds the record?
I'm going to take a total guess. Big Ben.
Yeah, you're at it, aren't you?
No, I genuinely wasn't at it. I genuinely was he?
That is unbelievable for you.
What a shout. I just thought, big guy.
Can he move?
Can he move? Been playing for years. He's had it a few times.
Runs like man bear pig.
Point in the bag for me.
10 points in the bag for you, but I will leave it. You'll take that. But that ends the kind of current news at the moment. We'll move on. And in fact, I tell you what, we'll go to the questions. We'll go to the questions from the YouTube comments section. I think they've been flooding in fast. So we've got Ali Clark here. Good man, okay. I want to ask, will Gary Pringle make it to 1-7 weekend, or is a defeat inevitable? Now, Ali's actually in Division 2, so they'll have Martin down there next year, and possibly Roberto when Shug beats him this week. Nice. Gary is sitting 1-7, which is appalling. Might end up worse because he's a Broncos fan as well. What are we saying, Shug?
Is he 0-7 then just now? You said 1-7, he's 0-7?
He's 0-7, sorry, he's 0-7. Ali's throwing me off there.
I've got him down. I think he'll get scudded again. He's finished.
He's finished. Once you're down there, it's hard to claw yourself back, isn't it?
He's going to struggle. He's popped and struggling to stop.
It's all right. He'll do well next year when he's get later in the league. But now we'll take another question from the comments section. This is good. I enjoy this. So we've got Hunter Bernstein. That's a lovely name. Hey guys, Godwin or so Chris Godwin, or I think when he says Lenny, I think he means Leonard Fournette. Tonight, full PPR. Been a little worried about Lenny lately. Who are you thinking, Chris Godwin or Leonard Fournette? I'd
probably stick with Fournette. I think he's got the quality. I think it's well and good saying you're a bit worried about him lately, but I'd stick with Fournette, to be honest with you.
Right. This probably isn't what we're here for, but I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to go Chris Godwin. I think the fact he's just back from injury, when you look week on week, that his routes that he's running, his percentages are improving, they're going up. In terms of Fournette, I think his job is becoming slightly lesser. I think we're starting to see the breakthrough of White at running back. Is the running back two there? His snaps are increasing. Don't get me wrong, one of us could be right here. Like, Fournette turns up when you least expect him. Am I right in saying you've got White?
I've got White.
Am I right? Nah, I don't know where to go with that.
I don't think so. Unless he's stuck in that team. He could very well have. No, I've not. You made that up.
Nah, right, okay. We're
No.
looking to trade for him soon. But no, I'll go Godwin. It's up to you
Right,
if you
I'm
want to
sticking
stick
with
with that.
Fournette.
But
I'm
right,
I'm
okay.
sticking with Fournette. Have faith. Lenny Henry will turn it around.
And I'm sticking with Chris Godwin. So thanks very much for the couple of questions. Keep the questions in. If we can answer some more after predictions, we will. But it's enjoyable. So get them in the comment section on YouTube. If you're watching just now, please subscribe. This is what does well for our numbers. We're going to do this regular on a Thursday night, aren't we, Shug?
Aye, absolutely. Hope to get them in.
It's,
Some good ones came in already, so it's a decent start so far.
hope to get them in. Hope not to say anything out of turn that could put our jobs in jeopardy. But we're here to entertain, aren't we?
100%.
I know, I know. So we're under strict instructions here to keep these in order, Shug, right? Our producer
Aye.
Dave's going to have a heart attack.
Dolphins to
So
win.
the Dolphins to win. Let's go. First up, okay, we're going tonight's game. The Baltimore Ravens are at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll come
Yep.
to you first. Give me a prediction.
Again, this is a tight one, but I'm going to go the Bucks to win this one. I think Tom Brady's going to bounce back. He's had his doubters, including ourselves this week. I'm going to put him down, put on a decent performance, and the Bucks to win.
Yeah, 1:15 a.m. You'll be just getting out your bed at that time, won't you?
I'll be just doing my stretches.
We've spoke too much about stretches on this show. It's a bit of an innuendo, but we'll move on. I'm going the Ravens. I'm going the Ravens here. You're saying Brady's going to bounce back. I'm saying Lamar Jackson's going to bounce back. He's not been great. I had him last week as my bust, but for me, I think he's going to. I think he's going to bounce back. I like the look at that matchup. The Bucks are on a serious downturn at the moment. So yeah, I'm hopeful that Lamar Jackson has a big night for me. So I'm going the Ravens. I like it when we disagree. That's entertaining, isn't it?
Aye.
Okay, next one up. Okay, Denver Broncos at the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's the Ali v Gary derby. The two Ali, Gary, and our one of our guests, Drew, are going down to London to watch this game. Drew being a Rams fan, the other two being Broncos and Jaguars. So that would make for a bit of fun. Anyway, this is one of these games where I think it's hard to pick, isn't it? As in, like
Yeah, I don't.
Jacksonville, terrible last week, cloaked against the Giants. Broncos, the least said about them, the better. I'm going Jags here. It's just an easy one for me. I'm going Jags.
I'm the same. I went Jags, but I'm not expecting a classic. The rest of the London games have been brilliant, and again, will be brilliant to see a game in London. But I don't see this being a classic. But I think the Jags will get the job done.
Yeah, it's funny. You've bought the tickets for that. You can down as a fan. Broncos fans are like, yes, we'll see Russell Wilson. Jacksonville
Aye.
Jaguars are James Robinson on fire. Can't wait to see him in London. Sorry. But no, I'm on board with you. I'm going for Ali Clark's Jaguars. And yourself, your Jaguars. So
Yeah,
we'll agree
Jaguars
on
for
this
me.
one.
Yeah.
Good, good. Next one up, we have got the Carolina Panthers, Toasty's team at the Atlanta Falcons. What have you got here?
I've went to the Atlanta Falcons just to get it right up, Toasty. I think they'll win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm going to go the Falcons as well. We're going to agree on this one. PJ Walker at the Panthers. I don't know if anybody's drafted him or picked him up in waivers. He had a great game last week. Nobody expected it against the Bucks. And that's a really shocking result when you consider one, how bad the Panthers have been. Two, you expect that just to be a straightforward game for Brady, and it wasn't. And that's probably why you're trying to get DJ Moore. Am I right in that in fantasy football?
Yeah.
He's relevant. He's fantasy relevant, and it's like your favourite meme.
The,
Somebody call
the
an
DJ.
ambulance. But not for me. Atlanta Falcons, and I'll tell you who I like in this game. I know that Cordero Patterson's coming back next week. It's quite likely that's happening. But don't throw the towel in Drake London yet. I really like him here. He's a rookie. He's a very good player. He'll pick up again. He's took a downturn, but I believe he'll pick up again. Could be wrong, but yeah, both of us going Falcons for that one. Next one up, we have got the Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys. Hard place to go in Dallas. I can't see past the Cowboys, but at the same time, there's always an upset, isn't there? I'm going to go the Bears in
There
this
always
one.
is, but I can't see it here. I think the Cowboys are starting to hit form. Obviously, Dax came back in. Bears have struggled. I don't see anything other than a Cowboys win here.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree. I always think when we do these things, it's easy to be just pick the favourites, but I think I get the feeling there's a shock. There's always a shock result. I
There
think
always
this is
is.
it this
Like,
week.
interesting. Don't see it. I would like
Yeah,
it to
yeah.
happen. Obviously, because it's Martin's team, the Cowboys. So I'd like to see it happen, but I can't see it. Cowboys to win here for me.
I'm going to Bears to run all over them. Justin Fields is a decent pickup in fantasy football just now. I think he's getting
Mhm.
better game by game. I think we're starting to see why all the sort of press in the States were big on him this year. And obviously knowing how well he done in college. So I like him as a pickup in fantasy football, Justin Fields. A good plug and play if you've got any bye weeks
Aye,
coming up and you're starting quarterbacks out. So I'll go
aye.
Bears. I'll go Bears and
Bears.
you can go Cowboys in that one, mate. Moving to the next game, we have got the Arizona Cardinals at the Minnesota Vikings, and it's one of these games I feel that both teams, it's a hard one to call. Both teams have been hot, both teams have been cold. Kirk Cousins at the Minnesota Vikings seems to just pick up wins and carry on with his business steadily. And
Yeah.
I'm going to go the Vikings this one. I'm going to go the Vikings. You've got to love Jefferson there. Thielen's been good. Kirk Cousins, excellent. Dalvin Cook. So I'd be starting at any of them this week if I'm honest in your fantasy team. But yeah, I'm going
Yeah.
Vikings in that one.
I'm agreed with you there. I think the Vikings will win it as well. You touched on all the players. I've got Kirk Cousins as my quarterback. Trust him with a lot of games. He does deliver, so I fancy him to do it this week.
Yeah. So, excuse me. Sorry. Next up, all right. I'm going to give this one to you. Dolphins. Your Dolphins are away at Detroit Lions. Talk to me.
Oh, 100% Dolphins are going to win this one. I think Tua being back, got so many weapons going forward. They're on a good season. Had their week in a wobble a couple of weeks ago. Lions haven't looked impressive. For all we said, um,
Hard
we like the
knocks.
show with a soft spot for them on Hard Knocks, but I cannot see anything other than a Dolphins win. Hopefully this week.
Fully on board with you. I know we spoke about upsets and that. I just can't see an upset here. Dolphins with Tua, they're just a flying machine. Love to watch
Yeah,
them as well with all that pace on the side. For me, easy choice. Raheem Mostert's going to run all over them. Tua's going to be thrown for fun. Yep, easy one. Dolphins all day. Let's see who we have next. Okay, let's see my list. We have got the New England Patriots. They're away to the New York Jets. Interesting to see what happens here. I know it's been a bit of a shuffle with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi at quarterback. A
yeah.
funny thing I seen the other night, the official NFL fantasy football app put out, how did your fantasy week go? And someone had Bailey Zappi with 6 points, but he'd answered the question something like 50 minutes before the game ended, thinking, right, I'm cruising here. I think Zappi
All
threw
right.
an interception. He lost his game because of that one. But this is another interesting one. I like the Patriots. They've been solid. Maybe not the other night. Poor performance the other night. Probably their worst of the season. We didn't really see it coming, but I felt like Zappi was going to fall off a cliff at some point, and there wasn't much news around Matt Jones starting there. I'm going to go to Jets. Their run game is going to be so strong with James Robinson in there now. Michael Carter as well. Zach Wilson healthy at quarterback. For me, I'm taking the Jets.
I'm agreeing with you. Jets been impressive this year. As you said, a good addition there. So I think so. I just win.
Yeah, totally agrees with you. Moving on, we spoke about it already, and I think this is a gimme, as if we call it in golf. Pittsburgh Steelers at the Eagles. Do I even need to ask?
Nah, it's going to be weather's going to be nice in Philadelphia as usual.
It's always sunny.
Correct. Correct.
Yes,
Aye. Eagles all day. they've been flying, so to speak, all season. So, and Steelers have been struggling. So I can't see anything other than, I mean, I know there's always a shock, but don't see it here.
Eagles to go 7-0. If you've got any Eagles players whatsoever in your fantasy team, get them started. This could be a high scoring game for the Eagles. I just don't believe in the Steelers at all. So, Steelers for both is a nice, easy win. Las Vegas Raiders are away to the New Orleans Saints. Once again, I think this comes under the same bracket as the Cardinals at the Vikings. Both teams blown complete hot and cold. Hard
Yeah.
one to call for me. I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to go with the Saints in this one. Raiders have been good. I've liked Mac Hollins in fantasy football. In terms of New Orleans Saints, Chris Olave's been absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
He's my guy at the moment. I'm going Saints.
I'm going to disagree with you. I think the Raiders have got enough in there. I think Saints have just disappointed time and time again this season for me. Any game I've kept an eye on, any players have not really delivered. So I'm going to go the Raiders to now kind of kick on a wee bit. I think I predict that from the start of the season, the Raiders to do well, and they've just kind of stuttered through it. But I think they'll get the win this week.
Right. Okay. We'll disagree on that one. Next one up, we have got the Tennessee Titans going to Houston against the Texans. I'm going to go upset in this one because I think they're sneaky good. I'm going to take the Texans here. I don't know why. I think they're at home.
I'm
I
in,
just don't want to say
I'm in
again.
agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you on that one. I don't know. Again, I don't know what it is. They've just seems as if they've been nearly. They've kind of laid a glove on a lot of teams they've played against, but not really got the results yet they deserve. So I think they're actually going to pull it off this week.
Yeah, and I expect Damien Pierce to have a big game, but I hope it doesn't. I think I'm up against him. But yeah, let's go a sneaky one here. Let's both go Texans then.
Yeah.
We are getting through them now. Okay, next one easy for me. New York Giants are away to the Seattle Seahawks. Easy for me. I'm going Giants.
See,
I hope I've not cursed that.
I was in two minds here because I think the Seahawks, again, we spoke about it on Monday. We wrote them off a lot this season and they've produced some big results. But I'm going to go with the Giants as well. I think the majority of people have played them down all season, but they've just seemed to just keep grinding out wins. So I think it'll be the same this week. I think they'll get another big win and keep the momentum going.
Turn up with a game plan. All six of Giants win come with one score player less.
Yeah,
In terms of the Seattle Seahawks, my guys there, Kenneth Walker, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's revitalised my fantasy football team. I think the Giants will shut down the run for the sake of my fantasy team. I hope they don't, but we still win. But I'm going the
yeah,
Giants here. Seattle Seahawks are good. DK Metcalf said he could play. I don't think he will play. And you're saying Tyler Lockett's questionable at the moment. That would be a
yeah,
huge boost to the Giants.
yeah, absolutely. But in saying that, I think it will come right down to the wire. I don't think it'll be a convincing one. I think it'll be right to the end.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you there. Next one up, we have got the San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams. Another tough one to predict, but I'm going to go 49ers here. A lot of hype around them last week, Shug, with the signing of Christian McCaffrey. Um, for me, I think the run game's going to be heavy here. I think they'll have another week with McCaffrey there.
Mhm.
It doesn't take me for me to say about fantasy football, you start McCaffrey. And yeah, I'm going to take the 49ers for an away win against the Rams. The Rams just don't seem to have sorted it out. They've had plenty of
Yeah,
time to do it, and it's just not happened this season.
I'm the same. I'm going to go 49ers win. I think it's got to be the CMC show. I think a full week under his belt. We've seen glimpses of it last week. Full week under his belt, as you said. And I'm going to go with 49ers. I think they showed signs that they can compete throughout the season. Last week, I thought they were decent early on. They just fell short, but I'm going to go with them to win.
Nice, love it. I'm in agreement with you there. I can't even speak with that far into the show. Okay, let's move on. The Washington Commanders at the Indianapolis Colts. And have you ever seen that YouTube video, two clowns fighting? That's what this is.
I have zero interest in this game whatsoever. Don't care. One is win.
Let's just not even predict anyone next.
Aye. I'm just going eeny, meeny, miny, more than
For the sake of my
Aye.
fantasy team, I'm going the Commanders. In fact, I've benched
Aye.
Brian Robinson. I'm not sure. I think, see, when Brian Robinson was come off IR after the whole famous gunshot thing, I felt like he was just going to go straight in there, running back one. And last week it didn't really feel like that. It felt like Gibson was the main running back still there. So it'll be interesting to
Aye.
see what happens there. I'm just not going to take the risk on it. So I'm going to go a Commanders win there.
I'll go Colts just for the sake of it, but I don't care.
I don't care. Move on. We've got the this is a good game. I like the look of this. I know who I'm predicting, but the Green Bay Packers away to Buffalo Bills. That is going to be
Aye.
some game. You've got Aaron Rodgers up against Josh Allen. The Bills are just unbelievable to watch. For me, it's a toss of the coin between the Bills and the Chiefs for the Super Bowl this year.
Yep.
If you've got Bills players, you're starting them there. Green Bay have just been very poor this season. If you've got Green Bay players in your fantasy, I'd be very reluctant to start them. As Shug said earlier in the show, I took Doubs as one of the Sims. He took Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I'm going for
Yep.
a Bills win here, straightforward for me.
Bills all day long.
Buffalo Bills.
Aye.
Buffalo Bills. Next up, okay, we're getting through them. Last game of the weekend, the late Monday night game, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Cleveland Browns, and I think this is going to be an excellent game. The Bengals are flying, absolutely flying. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are sure starts in any fantasy football team. In terms of Joe Burrow, or Allen as you like to call him, he's been brilliant. We're starting to see the real Burrow again, like the Cincinnati Bengals that went to the Super Bowl last year. Won their
Yep.
first three games, slow to start. They're away to the Browns. The Browns are good at home. You get the dog pound behind them there. I'm going the Bengals for this one.
I'm the same. Bengals, really impressed with them in recent weeks. As you said, Burrow has really stepped up now. Higgins, who my kind of pick in the earlier question, I just think they'll. I just think they'll have too much. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think any Browns game has been. Most of them have been quite crazy to watch. To be honest with you, a lot of excitement around them for good and bad reasons. But I'm going to go with the Bengals.
Yeah, and I think that pretty much ties us up for the predictions this week. I think we'll start to get a wee sort of graphic of our predictions, get a bit of competition going. We'll pick something like six
Aye.
games and go for it from there. We pick six,
Yeah.
but we're getting plenty of comments in on the YouTube comment section. Keep them enjoying this. Oh, it's more hate for you, man. Roberto, he's back in again. This guy's a troll. He's a Spanish
Aye.
correspondent. I won't get beat by Shug this week, not with the news that Lazard is out for Shug. Give him a bit.
We've got plenty more weapons than that, pal. You're sitting down at the bottom. You're thinking about second division. Don't you worry about me or Lazard.
There's no
We'll
I
be
in team,
battling out
is
with
there?
we next week. Aye, we've got plenty of weapons. Don't worry.
All right, okay, here he's back. What do you think of that? On that note, Garrett Wilson, Jets injuries, Wandale Robinson, Hayden Hurst, Chase injury. What two should he start? Do you want me to take this one?
Now you take that one because there's no way I can unbiased way say that.
Okay. So Shug's saying you should start Garrett Wilson. I'm not.
Aye,
All right. I'm leaving Garrett Wilson out of this one. Since Zach Wilson's came in, he's completely fell out the fray there for me. I'm seeing it with Tyler Conklin, who I've got at tight end, although I think he might bounce back. Wandale Robinson is a guy that you'll see the pundits all over Twitter saying that he's a guy that you should go and pick up at the moment, given the situation at the Giants. Hayden Hurst as well. I think he was one of your. Am I right in saying he was your starting last week? Tight end at the Bengals.
he wasn't my starting that last week. No, I don't think so. I
Must
live
have been
week
the
by
week
week.
before. You
I don't think. I don't think so. They're out of my mind. No, I wasn't mine last week. Maybe the week before.
I'll have a whatever. Nah, they're easy one. Wandale Robinson and Hayden Hurst.
Double H.
Uh,
Oh,
Double
there's the
H.
pigeon.
Oh, we've got toasted. Right, and I'm going to hold this one because I've just been sent a trade. Oh my God. Guess who it's from?
Jamie McRae.
The man in the comments. All right. He's just offered me Kadarius Toney for Kenneth Walker.
Oh, he's at it. He's at it.
He
I'm going to
is
see if he's
at it.
Got to see if he's sent me in. I actually turned off notifications because he used to send me so much.
He's a pest, right? He's wrote in the comments. He tries to convince you as if you're not into the NFL and you don't have your own podcast and that we don't talk about it right throughout the week and kind of know what we're saying. He
So I've been
says,
sent an interesting thing.
aye?
Jordan has sent me Eno Benjamin for Devon
Yes.
Singletary.
I am not taking that, Shug.
Absolutely not.
And do you know what I'll say? Can we get that? I don't know if we can get it up on the screen that quickly. Can we get the wee accept or reject? Right. So
Any
we'll
chance,
We can
go.
get
producer David?
we can
You
get the
up?
accept. Yeah, we can get the accept and reject up, but I'm not quick enough to put up a complete graphic. But we can definitely do accept and reject.
Oh, Geppetto's lost his strings. Right,
Sorry about
Shug,
him, guys.
I'm saying Eno Benjamin, right? It looks like James Conner could be back this week, so Eno Benjamin's going to drop down in the Cardinals, so I'm not liking that matchup. Singletary, very much the RB1 there. I'm not going near that at all. So what are you giving us?
Yeah.
Thumbs up or thumbs down? Here's to Jordan.
I've been really happy with Singletary for me. And obviously the Bills looking strong. Keeping my win all day long. It's a big thumbs down from me.
Suck on that, Jordan. Toasty's trade, the one I've got in, right? Here's what he has said. Chiefs wide receiver 1 on best passing offense for not even the number 1, Kenneth Walker. Get out of town, man. I think I'm not even going to have to explain myself here. I have got the hottest running back in the whole of fantasy football just now. So Toasty, see ya.
Nice try,
Anyway,
Toasty.
I know, get back in your pit, mate. Question actually came in from Toasty, right? He's saying here he needs to start 2 of Jonathan Taylor, or Johnny as he calls him, Travis Etienne, Ramondre Stevenson, and Damian Pierce. Any suggestions?
I think I'd go Travis Etienne, and I think Damian Pierce, we spoke about earlier, I think he's in for a decent week, so I'd probably go with the 2 of them, to be honest.
I'm 100% in agreement with you here. Travis Etienne, we know James Robinson there. He's took over the role as RB1 even when Robinson was there. So I know I'm playing Toasty this week. I shouldn't be giving him advice like he actually needs it. Yeah, Etienne and Pierce for me. I fancy Pierce. They have a good week. So yeah, that's how I would go. If it was me giving him advice, I'd go with the other 2. Anyway, we've got Stevie Waugh in the comments. Good friend of the show. He's saying, I hope you're right about the Jags. I'm starting Lawrence at quarterback this week. You've not got Lawrence, have you? I think it's Johnny in our league. He's flattered to deceive a wee bit, especially in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I think he'll have a good game in London. I think the Broncos are that poor that he will have a good game. So, yeah I hope you're right about Lawrence too. But thanks for the comment. Keep them coming. Keep the comments coming. Producer David, have we got any? Let's see. We will move on, right? If we've got any more at the end of the show and we can get them in, we will. But Shug, Calvin, riddle me this. Our segment from Monday, I believe you have a few for me here. I'm looking forward to this.
With me. I've got a couple for you. So again, same format as one during the week, but you're not up against anyone unless somebody tweeting or messaging can get it in beforehand. So here's my first riddle. To run after Noel. Easy one to start.
Gallagher, something Gallagher.
Nope.
I'm on the right tracks. To run after Noel. Chase Edmonds. That is brilliant, man.
Aye. So
Noel Edmonds. Before we go to the next one, do you know I went out as Noel Edmonds one Halloween? How on point is this on topic? And Taylor, mate, I had a wee beard, right? I had a goatee, I had this terrible, like one of these, like your dad's worst shirts, and I had a box, like Deal or No Deal.
I remember we seen him at Glasgow Airport. We were coming back for a boys' holiday years ago, and we seen him at Glasgow Airport. Nowadays, you would have got a selfie, but it wasn't really the thing back then. I'm gutted we didn't get a picture, but he was at the baggage reclaim, and I was just thinking this box is going to come out.
Here's one to look up. It's quite hard to find.
Yeah, Toasty
Toasty.
got
You got it. You got it tomorrow. We
it.
look this up on YouTube if you're watching. Right, I think it's quite hard to find, but you know, in Deal or No Deal when they brought out like the Lucky Charms, this
No, I
woman
don't.
brought out a picture, right, and it was like her with her little brother and stuff when they were younger, and Noel was like, let me see your charms. And she's like, yes, this is me and my brother. And he's like, oh, look at his funny face. Look how funny he looks. And she was just like, he's disabled. And he's like, oh, he looks great. You've never seen someone try to dig themselves out of a hole so far in their life.
That was the worst video I've seen.
I'm glad you've seen it. Right, give me our next one, mate. I'm on fire.
Anyway.
I feel like I'm on fire.
90s music collection for a farm animal.
Easy, CD Lamb. Boom. That is class. That is good. There we go.
And I think you'll get the last one. I think you'll get it fairly easy. Lover Squared.
Lover Squared. I've got a feeling you've set me up for something like Shagger here. Nick Chubb.
Not quite. Not quite.
Lover Squared. Lover Squared. Lover Squared. Tua Tagovailoa.
Nah.
Lover. Lover Squared. Oh, mate. Is anyone in the comments getting this? Lover Squared. Lover, lover, lover. Fighter, lover, hater. Lover Squared. Lover, lover. Lover, 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 lover.
I thought you'd get this one.
Squared. Squared is like...
Focus on the first word.
Lover. Who's a lover?
What do you think? What do you think of if you think of love?
I don't go there, mate.
Think of love and think of characters.
Think of love and think of characters.
Right. Who in history would you think of? You thought of a lover. Who do you think? What famous story?
Ron Jeremy.
How's it going? Watching NFL tonight?
A famous... I don't think I'm getting this. Famous lover.
You mentioned him earlier.
I can see it now. Romeo Doubs. That is terrible. That is shocking, man.
How did you not get that one?
Oh, mate, I don't know. I had that mind blank. The other two, I don't know, right, man, but that was good. I enjoyed that. Oh, mate, this has been good. This has been so much fun. I enjoyed doing the live, man. The interaction's brilliant with the listeners because sometimes we feel like absolutely nobody listens, but in actual fact, people do listen. We see the statistics each week. But yeah, I think we'll wrap it up at that. Shug, as ever, fantastic, mate. You've been excellent.
I enjoyed that. Thanks, Kieran.
I know. And just if you've stayed on for this long and you've enjoyed it, and thanks very much for the questions, everything. Please subscribe, please like, please share, please tell people about us. We're not professionals, we're not experts, we're just guys like you that really enjoy fantasy football and the NFL, and we've done this for a laugh and it's picked up a wee bit, so it's good fun. But thanks as ever, Shug. Thank you, everyone. What
about the graphics as well? Top class. I mean, it looks so professional, and then I've got a slow cooker and a microwave in the background. So
you've brought it down to our level a wee bit.
Right,
Producer Dave, man. Producer Dave. Outstanding. And as we call him, Geppetto pulling the strings in the background, mate.
He's pulling something in the background.
Oh, for God, we'll move on. He's stretching me and Russell Wilson there.
Wrap it up, guys. Wrap it up.
Thanks very much.